Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons and Scotty Cranmer. All right, so Scotty Cranmer specifically is a BMX rider, and he rode for 9 seasons in the X Games. All right, and so basically he competed every year, and he's a world-class BMXer. So that is bicycling on a BMX bike, and these type of bikes are specifically designed to do tricks on the same type of equipment that we would find in a skate park, or you can ride them in urban settings. They're ridden in urban settings a lot. There's a lot of rail grinding. Some of the main tricks in BMX today are tail flips, bar twists, flares, all kinds of different interactive ways that people ride BMX today, right? And Scotty Cranmer is one of the best in the world at this, okay? So what I want to talk about today is Scotty Cranmer specifically in one period of his life. Between like 2013 and 2016, there's a 3-year period that is captured on YouTube. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about this today is I recently started watching Scotty Cranmer's videos. And Scotty Cranmer's videos are really very unique. And what happened is after he had finished riding in the X Games, he started a YouTube channel, and he was riding BMX specifically right around where he lived in New Jersey. So he'd go to lots of these skate parks, and he would set up ramps even near his own home. There were some bike shops he would go to, and they would let him do his thing in the parking lot, and whenever he would, and essentially he started just riding BMX and capturing that footage and putting it up on YouTube, right? And so one of the things is, I'm a big bicycle nut, right? But I ride in a pretty different way. So different people ride bicycles in different ways. So Scotty Cranmer rides in a completely different way than I ride. But I ride in I'm an urban exploring bicyclist. So I have a nice Trek bike. It's about a $600 bike, which is actually low end for most bicyclists. I know somebody who has $600 pedals on their bicycle. And on that bike, it's a mountain bike. It's a hybrid mountain bike. So it's a cross between a road bike, almost like a Cannondale, type of curled handlebars, real low profile. It's a cross between a road bike and a bicycle, literally built to ride on a mountain, right? And it's nothing like a BMX bike. It's very, very different, right? But every year I ride probably 100, 200 miles all over the city of Philadelphia, exploring Philadelphia, right? And the reason why I do this is I'm a knowledge worker, right? But probably one of the most absolutely persistent persuasions in my life is Dungeons & Dragons. So when I read Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, it talked about exploration, interaction, and combat being the pillars of that game. And I thought, you know what? Those could be some of the pillars in my life. And I thought about ways that I could apply exploration, interaction, and combat in my life, right? And bicycling does all of those. So when I bicycle, I can explore the entire city. And what I do mostly is I go to historical sites and I see them, I learn more about them, right? And interaction, recently, the Franklin Mercantile Chess Club is in Philadelphia. I'm now a member of the Franklin Mercantile Chess Club. I go there, I'll play a game or two, maybe 3 or 4 every week, right? And I do that because I interacted with the people there when I found them through my exploration. And what am I combating? Well, I'm combating complacency, right? I'm combating putting my face on another screen, right? So I could stay home and I can watch reruns of the Dungeons & Dragons animated show, right? But I've already seen that show. So I need to combat that complacency, right? Well, the reason why I'm talking about Scotty Cranmer today is, it's hard to keep that inspiration to keep doing what you're doing. It's for multiple reasons, right? But when I saw Scotty Cranmer's videos, they just absolutely inspired me to keep up with my exploratory urban riding, right? And it really helped. And the reason why is when I look at Scotty Cranmer, he is an adventurer, and he has an adventuring crew, and they're doing exactly what a Dungeons & Dragons adventuring crew would do, right? So Scotty Cranmer, during this period, this 2013 to 2016 period, he was going out and he was exploring right around where he lived in New Jersey, right? And hitting every skate park and hitting every rideable area within a 50-mile zone around his home. And he was bringing his adventuring party with him, Big Boy and Corey Burglar and Matt Cranmer, right? And they would go there and they would just slay their own monsters. And I think one of the monsters that Scotty was trying to slay was the idea of retirement, right? He was done with the X Games, right? But he still just had more riding in him, right? So he was combating his own monsters, right? And when I watch his videos, you take a look at Scotty Cranmer, because you will see he is one of the best BMX riders in the world, right? Especially during this period where the material he's doing is incredible, right? And if you watch him, right, you're going to see, like, it gives you a new perspective on your player character, right? And how they're doing what they do. Our player characters within Dungeons & Dragons, they heal people if they're clerics. They steal things if they're thieves. They slay things if they're fighters. And they cast things if they are wizards, right? And they are all going about the same task, adventuring, in different perspectives, right? And when you look at Matt Cranmer, Scotty Cranmer, Corey Burglar, Big Boy, they're all going about the same task. They're all adventuring, right? And they're doing it from different perspectives, right? And it's just really, so I love D&D so much. It's so special to me, right? And it's become such a huge part of my life that I just have D&D goggles, right? Wherever I look, I see D&D. And a lot of things, I'm like, that's not D&D, right? Or that's something you would find in a dungeon, right? But when you look at Scotty Cranmer, you really see the spirit of an adventuring party. And also, he's clearly the leader of that adventuring party, right? And there's just so much to be learned for playing your player character by watching Scotty Cranmer in this period, in this YouTube period between 2013 and 2016. It's a lot of fun just to see him do his thing. But if you look at his journeying and his going with his adventuring party to these different places and how they all approach the same thing and how they're slaying their own monsters, it's really unique and it's really special. I've really been incredible, and this is really important to me too, because Dungeons & Dragons is incredibly important to me, and I've used it to spur more exercise in my life, right? And I find it challenging to keep inspired for that, right? Well, Scotty Cranmer has been, just seeing what an incredible job he did at taking his riding game to a new level, has just really inspired me. And it's really important because right now I'm coming off of a long winter, and I don't ride in the wintertime. It's just too cold. I've really, really tried. It's just not fun, and it's not super great. I have a plan for this year where, this coming winter, I have an entire activity that's going to be my winter exercise. I'm hoping I can make it, kind of tie into Dungeons & Dragons. I'm still looking to Dungeons & Dragons for inspiration for exercises I can do in the winter, and, that are exploratory, that do have interaction, and that do, put combat in there, in an abstract way, certainly for that last part. But I'm really excited because, we're now into June, and I have a good solid 5 or 6 months of riding. And just watching Scotty Cranmer's video when I go into Philadelphia, when I take my bike and get on the regional rail and ride in from the suburbs into Philadelphia, having watched his videos, I really feel I can get another 2, 3, 4, 5 miles in that day on my ride, just because I'm so inspired. Take a look at Scotty Cranmer's videos from the perspective of seeing how you can, should there be a leader in your adventuring party? Because one of the things that's very clear is for the adventuring party that Scotty Cranmer was going and BMXing with during that 2013 to 2016 period, he absolutely is the leader. And I think we're really resistant to have a leader within a Dungeons and Dragons player character group. And the more I look at it, I'm thinking maybe we really should figure out a way to do that or incent players to do that, right? And then also from the idea of, take a look at the idea from specifically of Scotty Cranmer and his 2013 to 2016 period from the perspective of exploration, interaction, and combat. And just the way, and boy, man, will you see, one of the things he also was combating was just every single one of these riding areas. Man, he slew some dragons, and you will see that. So take a look, and thank you. Take care.